Fresh off of her appearance in Shang-Chi, Michelle Yeoh is back again, this time in black comedy Everything Everywhere All at Once. In it, she stars as Evelyn Wang, an ordinary woman who discovers she has the ability to exist in multiple universes and control objects across all of them, but she must prevent someone from destroying them all. I'm Ronald Young Jr., and I'm leaving the theater. Check. This is Ronald. All right. I am leaving the theater after seeing Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I'm dodging across the street with...
Nichole. Nick.
Just Nick. Yeah, Nick. That's Nichole Hill. That's the voice of Nichole Hill. She goes by, she's a monosyllable. What do they call it?
I'm working with a client, Jocelyn. She was like, do you go by Nick? I met somebody named Ronald.
Yeah.
She was like, it was so weird. He was like, I know Nick. And she was like, okay, I know Nick too.
Yeah, she was like, maybe that's some sort of new person that's mixing. Or I was like, no, how dare you?
That's right. She was like, we did hire a new guy. It's like, no, it's me.
All right. Everything Everywhere All at Once, starring Michelle Yeoh, Ki-Hugh Quan, Stephanie Hsu, James Hong, Jamie Lee Curtis, Tallie Medel, Jenny Slate, Harry Shum Jr., Audrey Wasilewski, Sunia Mani, and Daniel Scheinert. Daniel Scheinert.
Yeah.
Written and directed by Quan and Daniel Scheinert, otherwise known as Daniels. They actually did something else. I don't remember what it is. Do you remember what it is?
Something else. What is it? Because they're the Daniels.
I don't think I liked it, what it was. Because I remember they were like, by Daniels, and I was like, I'll remember that.
I'll be sure never to forget.
Yeah.
I don't like the Daniels.
All right, so Everything Everywhere All at Once, for people that don't know, it's about a woman named Evelyn Wang who is working at a laundromat, and she is getting audited, and while she's being audited, she discovers that she basically has the ability to move through different universes and control items in all of them while trying to stop someone who seemingly is trying to destroy all of the universes. That's basically the plot. That's as much as we can tell you without ruining it. Mm-hmm. I can see.
Well,
I can see.
Is that the plot? I'm not sure I fully understand what occurred, but I liked it. It put me like in a very contemplative, reflective, emotional place. Yeah. But I don't know that I don't know. I know I don't know what happened.
Okay, neither do I. Okay, so initial thoughts. When the movie started, I remember the main thing I was thinking was, this movie has my full attention. Yeah. And from the beginning, they're doing normal family stuff, just dealing with all the family, like things that are going on around them, paying the bills, there's a party going on. It was very ADHD in the beginning, the same way that we all are when we have hold on one second, stupid tourist buses going by. Nobody cares. All right?
$50.
Get out of here. Yeah, we'll take them.
We did need them.
Get the heck out of here. Yeah.
They were gone for a while.
And there's so many of them. They're lined up there.
Because it's this place.
Yeah, I forgot we're the weirdos.
We shouldn't be here. We have no business here.
We're the ones in the wrong spot. Yeah, we're going to
ever be here.
We're 100% going to Alamo. Yeah. That's right. Home where we belong. Okay. So yeah, the energy in the beginning was very fast-paced, and it felt very relatable in that way. What did you think of the very beginning?
I thought it kept me thinking of Baz Luhrmann. Like, it's very fast. We're doing a lot of cuts, but not so fast that it's whiplashy.
Yeah,
just
easy to follow.
Exactly. Yeah, fast in the way that really puts you in Evelyn's shoes, where there's a lot of noise. Yeah. Everything just felt like noise.
Yeah.
Her daughter felt like noise. Her husband, all these people who need her, just felt like distractions from not anything in particular, but you got the sense that, this is a woman who is overwhelmed and can't focus.
Yes. I think that's what I got too. I was sitting there watching it, and I just kept thinking ADHD. I kept thinking that over and over again. I was like, yeah, and I'm like, but it didn't feel unique to her. It felt like everyone wanted her attention for something different, and for all very important things.
Yes.
Like her dad wanted her attention, her daughter wanted her attention, her husband wanted her attention, all for very important things. And it's like the movie's like, all right. So check this out. You know, you guys have a lot of things competing for your attention in life. What if, everything all at once? That could have been the whole movie. Yeah. But it was like, you know what's funny? In the 90s, there probably is a movie that is that, where they don't take the journey we want. But at one point, the movie just starts to take this journey. Now, my question for you is, when it starts to delve into, when it becomes a sci-fi movie, which it is, how did you feel about that?
Okay, so I was excited when we get our first little glimpse of like, ooh, something odd is going to happen. My issue, it was initially that it takes over an hour for her to understand the rules of her new world. Okay. That is too long. Yes. She keeps being confused. Her world changes about, I was tracking it, her world changes about 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in, and she is confused for 30 minutes straight. Yes. That's too long. Yeah. So that annoyed me. But once her world starts changing and you learn the rules of it, I thought it was very poetic and beautiful. Yeah. I really did. I
absolutely agree with that. I think what got me was it felt like the movie would reward someone like me who it's hard for me to pay attention to stuff if they're doing too much talking. And I feel like I've seen movies where they just be doing too much talking. I'm like, man, come on, man, bring on the water. You know what I mean? Like what we doing out here. What this movie I think does very well is it peppers it in. You're right. The confusion was irritating. But what was not irritating was that they would give you some talking and then give you some action. Yes, and they like rewarded you with good action. Yeah. Where I'd be like, and it was enough for somebody like Ronald to draw me in. I'm like, okay, great. Okay, great. I'm back in. Okay, I'm back in again. And the emotional beats of this movie, I cried 3 times in this movie. Like, I was like, and not full of tears, like, nah, no thug tears out here. Yeah, but more like it just like welled up, and I'm like, push it back in, get it back in there. Yeah, it was like that. Yeah. But like from the beginning, I think in each act, there was something that happened. There was always the stuff that had to do with her and her daughter. Always. Every single time. And then the one part where we're talking about the possibilities that we become because of our decisions. Man, I went down a path. I had to pull myself back out of the multiverse at that point. What did you think about that? The thing that gets me, like whenever it's like you could have lived a bunch of different lives. I think that right now a lot of people are doing stories around, like a lot of millennials, us, we're elder millennials. I don't know if you knew that. I don't. I have a birthday on Tuesday and I don't want to hear stuff like elder. That. Yeah. So a lot of elder millennials are doing these movies where they're taking their parents to task and kind of being like, these are the ways that here's how you mess me up. Here's how you mess me up. This is what my therapy is all about now. But what I love about this is you get some of that, and you also get some of the mom side of it too, which I feel like you so rarely get. Yeah. And in getting to explore all these like universes that seem, when they show up in her busy life, they just seem like weird. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, shut up about that. I need your attention on me. Yeah. But then when you go into the multiverses and you see the little things that she likes turned into universes, they're beautiful and they're rich, and it makes you understand why she can't just focus on any one thing. Yeah. Because there's so many other lives that, like, they don't just die. You still have, they're like still in her a little bit. Like, and that was like, ooh, that just got me. I think it's beautiful. I think, I can't get over, like, the movie is beautiful. I think you can't really understate the work that Michelle Yeoh and Kelly and Stephanie Hsu do. I can't get over like how the work that they do in this movie. They put, acting wise, and I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, did y'all put out this movie too early? Should this be a September movie? Because y'all need to be in the conversation next year. They should be, but they might have to do a re-release to do it. But what did you think of Michelle Yeoh? She's always extraordinary and incredible. Yeah. I don't know if I've seen her play. Me either. Yeah, this is so different. And it's amazing. Like, it gets in your soul, but I've never seen her like this. Yes. It's beautiful. In the beginning of the movie, she establishes that it's like, okay, y'all think y'all know Michelle Yeoh, but check this out. And she's doing stuff, and it's not about, because we've seen her be cold in Crazy Rich Asians. We've seen her be calculating, all of that. We've seen her be like strong and powerful many times. In this one, she seems like a woman on the brink, and we've never seen Nichole Yeoh like that. And the humanity that it brings through in the interactions with her daughter, they came to act.
Yeah. They did, and I think it just shows you like that people are so multifaceted. Usually she does play one monolithic character, and she was all those pieces of those characters were in her, and she had to like tap into them. And I adore the way you tap into your powers in this like world. It's like that the poetry of that is like, oh my God. I'm just, because I feel like, and probably for you too, that the way that you tap into your powers in this world feel very similar to the way you tap into your powers in the real world.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like that's just a beautiful metaphor that is like I'm just gonna be thinking about that for a long time.
It echoes out, it creeps out like in those ways. I think I will say one thing that I started to think, and I don't know if you thought of this. The movie's like, I think it runs about a little over 2 hours. Might just be at 2 hours. It runs. And I feel like there was one point where I was like, is this movie going off the rails? Has it gone off the rails? And there was a couple of particular portions I'm thinking about, specifically hot dog hands, and we'll leave it at that. We won't go too deep because we don't want to spoil it. But like, okay,
didn't need it.
Okay, neither did I.
Like, okay, I have a capacity for weird.
Yep.
And we definitely exceeded it.
Yes.
And I think that this is my own personal preference, but I think we needed one less weird universe.
Agreed.
There
two
was nothing.
of them. I know exactly what the other one is.
Yeah.
Okay,
but that one was good because it needed to get across a lot of exposition that if they had said in any other way, it would have been it's like undeliverable because it's too cheesy.
Okay.
So I think that's why in the one world where the talking occurred in it.
The talking.
And they were like talking to each other, but not talking to each other. Because they couldn't talk to each other on the mountain.
Oh, yes.
Is that the other word? That's the second world?
No, actually, that didn't bother me. I was going to say the one that got me was the Pixar referenced one. That's the one where I was like, you could have got rid of that completely.
Those were my two main ones. I thought you were going to say because we were on the same page about the cliff thing. But the Pixar thing and the hot dog hands, unnecessary.
Yeah.
You didn't need the comedy. We don't actually need any comedic beats by them. No. It's like you're all the way in. It's just
they had me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think there was one part where it was still like the ways in which she was dressing and all that was kind of distracting at that point when you get to that portion of the movie, which is this movie should be up for the best film of 2022. It should be up for best picture. But if there's another movie that maybe holds it together more in those portions, I think that's going to edge this one out for me in that way. But acting wise, I'm like, you take those portions, because even those parts where things are seemingly starting to feel like they're going off the rails, those two are staying the course, and they're doing exactly. And then even her husband and James Hong and Ki-hyu Kwan, like they're doing great jobs in this movie. The husband, and they're like, and it's funny because they are full on supporting characters in this movie. It is not their movie, but they show up and they clock in, and I feel like that. I liked them more than I liked the ancillary characters after that. You know what I mean? When you go a level below them, I'm just like, I don't know how much I needed Biff with or the rest of y'all. You know what I mean?
I like, though, that they did something that they did really beautifully was character development very quietly. So the husband was who he was in every universe consistently and throughout, like in the moments when you needed them the most. His character shined through and made the difference. And in the same way, her dad, I think they showed the generational impact of parenting. That's all I'm gonna say. But it's just like, I think they just did such a good job of creating characters and then holding true to them. And that was really powerful. And even the weirdness, like when she's dressing weird, I think that's so representative of her character, showing up in different ways in different universes. So when I think about being like that character's age and what I want from my parents, like the reasons that they were driving me out of my mind and I want to be close to them and I want to be far away from them, are not reasons that I could fully articulate then or now. It seems like you should. It seems like, I feel like we get this idea that like if my parents just did A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, it would be perfect and we would be fixed. But it's a maddening relationship. It can't be fixed in that way. And I think it's interesting the way that they explore how you heal your relationships with your parents, what is possible and what is just like, you can't put words to it.
Yeah. I agree. I think at the heart of the story is a bit of a romance story. They actually do two things. They do a bit of a romance story, which which was unique and fresh and felt to me. And then they did a family story, which I also think was unique and fresh. And they actually did 2 generations of a family story, if you think about it. And they touched on both of them, which I appreciated. So it being a family movie, it being a love story, all of that, and then giving me the multiverse in a way that, I love the multiverse. I like the idea. My favorite movie is Arrival. This probably is, if not for those parts where I felt like it was going off the rails, I was sitting there like about halfway through. I was like, man, is this my favorite movie? And I was sitting there and I'm like, it's definitely gonna be in the running, because I love things like that where people really get to the mind of this whole of multiverse, of everything, experiencing all of it at one time, being present, all of that stuff. And I think this movie did that well. Is there anything that I didn't mention that you want to mention?
Let me think. Is there anything else? Those were the big pieces. It's always beautiful to explore. Oh, I think like the reason that they picked that Evelyn
Oh man, yeah.
It just is so relatable.
Yes.
Because I think everybody thinks that all of the other versions of your life would be so perfect.
Yes.
And I like what they're doing with like exploring the pieces, the residue. I like that all of it just ties back to like your life could have gone a million different ways, but only because you are you.
Yes.
And all of the different people you would have been in that world are still in you, regardless of the world you're in.
Correct. Yes.
And that was really beautiful.
I think also the idea. You did, but it's a beautiful movie. But it is one thing to say that when you get to the portions, they said that you were the most ordinary you. And I think that's where they really like did some resonant work there, where it was like, oh yeah, this is. I guess that's the only way.
Worst you.
Yeah.
You're the worst one.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think don't we all feel like I feel like that's such a relatable feeling of like I could
assumption
have
that
lived
the
a million
prime
lives. Yeah. And I'm living this one. Like I'm the worst one. Yeah.
I was sitting there thinking, and I'm like, man, I got to do back. I got out of there. I was like, man, I got to be motivated. I got to do more things. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it made me feel that way. Over and all. Yeah, I don't know why it decided to do that. Like, we're audio producers. I'm immediately like, gosh, man. But I got an engineer now. So, yeah. So I'm like, EQ that out, Thomas.
Nice consistent sound is easy.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what's your star rating out of 5 stars?
I'm giving it a 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would give it a 4.5, but that off the rail stuff got me. I'm like, that I was like, you guys are like losing me a bit, and then they brought me back. But I was like, there's a couple parts with like, and like you said, they needed too much comedy in a part where I don't think they needed the comedy anymore. It felt that way.
It wasn't funny,
yeah.
And so that's what they did. I'm 4.5 because it needed to have been 90 minutes. It was too long.
Yeah, it was.
She needed to figure it out much faster.
Well, see, and that's the thing. I think I would argue that if they removed those comedy beats. Yo, man, we get it. You're a trolley. We get it. We get it. Oh my God, get out of here. Yeah.
Oh my God, you know what?
It's DC.
They're like, oh look, it's locals. That's what they're doing. This is what people do in DC.
Yeah, we just stand around interviewing each other. No, so I think if you remove those extra universes that we just talked about, and you take a little few of those comedy beats where it starts to go off the rails, if you take all of that out, just a little bit, I think it's shorter.
Yes.
And maybe you're not that irritated by that first 30 minutes.
It's too long at the end. We slow it down way too much at the end. It's beautiful, but it's too slow. Yeah. And if she had figured it out faster, we could have tightened.
You would have been fine with that at the end.
I would have been fine, but it's just like I kept checking my watch, but okay, she still hasn't figured it out. It's 30 minutes. She still hasn't figured it out. It's an hour. Yeah. And then she finally, an hour and 17 minutes in, she's like, all right, I think I got it. Yeah. What? Yeah.
I love that reaction.
Our movie, baby.
Yeah, like, let's speed it up. Okay. All right. Well, we give it, you 4.5, I'm 4. Let's give it a 4.25. I'm happy with that. Anything you want to plug?
No, your show, all your things. I'm not doing anything right now. Well, I am, but It's not out.
Okay, yeah, all right. Well, y'all follow Nichole Hill. I'll put her IG in Twitter. I think it's at Nichole with an N, but it'll be on the show notes, so you can check that out right now. And with that, Leaving the Theater is a production of ohitsBigRon Studios. Theme music by the mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder. To find out more about this show and other ohitsBigRon Studios shows, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ohitsBigRon. That's at ohitsBigRon. This episode was mixed and produced by Thomas Tyra of Bias Studios. Thank you, Thomas. If you like this show, I host another show on the Pushkin Industries podcast network called Solvable. Check that out wherever you listen. Nope.
Don't look at it.
Forgot.
Also, that
If you like this show, what? Yeah, I saw that. We'll get to that in a minute. These are gonna be some long credits. If you like this show, I host another show from HBO called HBO Docs Club. It's a co-production with Pineapple Street Studios. Check that out wherever you listen. Leaving the Theater will be back soon. Thanks for listening.